Alright, here we are. We're looking at a 2000 Jeep Wrangler. It's in line 6. I've got the air conditioner unit on here, and what I'm going to actually do is change out that water pump. The water pump is this right here, and as you can see, I've taken off my radiator and the fan shroud. Didn't take too much work, but I did have to drain the radiator. My next thing I'm going to take off here is the fan. Another thing I wanted to point out here is there's a lot of play. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's a lot of play in this entire there you can see it twist a little bit. A lot of play in that. So that probably is what my problem is. And you're trying to pull off the fan itself from the water pump, you're gonna be stumped by that bolt right, that nut right there. And I found the best way to take that thing off is to get a 36 millimeter fan clutch removal wrench. Drop it in there. Make sure the belt is on there at its regular tension, and give this thing a couple of whacks back and forth with just a hammer. I was able to do it with just the regular hammer, actually hitting it both ways, but it's actually counterclockwise is the direction it's going to actually loosen up in. I should add that I did not actually have that 36 millimeter wrench. I went to O'Reilly's and just borrowed it. I think you essentially check it out or pay it and you rent it, but I don't think there's any real fee to it. I'm not sure. Didn't sound like there's going to be a fee to it. So anyway, this is coming off. You can kind of see it right there. It's unthreading right in there. To take off that serpentine belt, what I have is this is the tensioner right there. You see what the pickle fork is pushing on? When I push down on that, that'll take all the tension off the serpentine belt, and I'll be able to pull that off pretty easily. I don't have to unscrew anything. I just push down on that. I don't know if I'll be able to show you this or not, but let's try it. I can't get enough. I gotta use my body weight to push on it. But anyway, that's it. Alright, here's the after effect. Serpentine should just come right out, but before you do this, make sure you've diagrammed how these things all wrap around all the pulleys, because I imagine every Jeep out there may be different depending on if they're configured with power steering or AC. So knowing how that goes back on would be important. There's a 1/2-inch wrench. Finished pulling off these bolts here, and that should come off pretty easily. Okay, 9/16. 9/16 will pull this one off pretty easily. And that'll allow me to get to the hose that goes up to the heater. Let me see what this looks like. This hose here goes to your hot water. I think that's possibly your intake hose. And I just disconnected the actual rubber from the aluminum piece here, because I think this bolt actually may be infused with the aluminum piece, so I can't get that thing off. I'm hoping it'll come right off. It'll turn, the bolt does, but it turns with this aluminum shaft, so that aluminum pipe. So I'm wondering if they're just fused together. We'll find out. Alright, the water pump has been taken off. So the gasket's still right there. Let's take a razor blade and cut that off, and you see there's a little chunk of the gasket that fell in there. I'm going to get that out of there. It should be ready to go, and here's the the old one. Here's the new one. See that this definitely has some play in it. Trust me, it's got play in it. What I did is I took this thing off, put the bolts, all 5 of them. There was one underneath. You can see here's the alignment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I took the same bolts out of this one and just put them right into this one. Make sure I had the right lengths. I think they're different lengths. And I got to get this thing off and transfer to here next. 3/4 inch wrench, took this right off. This is that aluminum segment of that hose that went to the water heater. What I did is I cleaned off that thread with a little bristle brush, steel brush, and I'm going to put a little bit of we'll tape that thread a little bit before I put it right back into the new one. And I started cleaning this off a little bit. This should be coming along. I think that's pretty clean. Alright, there's something I don't like here. Something's not working properly. I got this thing, it's kind of loose. So instead of this turns, this is that metal piece that goes to the heater. It's the heater inlet, I believe. So instead of me taking off that water pump, I'm going to hacksaw this thing off. I'm going to cut it off, take it off, replace it with this contraption, and then get a different hose down to that. And I think that'll be okay. I've seen a modification like that on somewhere else on the internet, and I'm going to do the same. This thing's, I don't know why they did this, but this just seems kind of, see how that turns. Alright, that's more like it. Right there, I got my hose bib, new 5/8 heater hose, and should be all set to go there. Now just put it all back together.